David Greenwald, 16, was murdered in Palmer, Alaska, shocking the small community and sparking national attention due to the horrific nature of the crime and the age of the perpetrators. David Greenwald had a bright future filled with dreams and ambitions. Born and raised in Palmer, Alaska, David was known for his kind nature, intelligence, and ambition. David attended Matsu Vocational and Technical High School and was active in extracurricular activities. He was well liked by his teachers and classmates. David had a passion for flying, as his father, Benjamin Greenwald, was a pilot and helped foster this interest. The two would spend their weekends flying together, creating a bond and shared love for the skies. David dreamed of becoming a pilot. November 13, 2016 began like any other day for the Greenwald family. David was planning to visit his girlfriend that night. He left the house around 6 p.m., telling his mother, Edie Greenwald, that he would be back by 9:30 p.m. Unfortunately, David never returned as promised, and his parents began to worry. The family reported him missing to the police. The first few hours of David's disappearance left friends and family worried and anxious. Friends and family joined the search effort, hoping to find any clues that would lead them to David. The search expanded to include law enforcement and volunteer groups, who searched the vast and rugged terrain of the area. Just one day after his disappearance, a horrific discovery was made. On November 14, 2016, David's 1995 Ford Bronco was found burned on a remote trail near Palmer. The burned vehicle shocked the community and raised concerns for David's safety. The discovery suggested foul play may have been involved. The Alaska State Police and the FBI were called in to assist in the case. Investigators searched the vehicle and the surrounding area for possible evidence. The condition of David's car indicated an apparent attempt to destroy evidence, making the search for evidence even more difficult. The investigation took a dangerous turn when authorities received a tip about Eric Allmendinger, David's 16-year-old friend. He was known to have been with David the night he disappeared. Allmendinger initially denied involvement, but his story raised suspicions among investigators. The investigation into Allmendinger's activities that night revealed several disturbing details. Investigators obtained evidence that clarified the events and that Allmendinger was not acting alone. Eventually, authorities identified others involved in the crime: Dominic Johnson, Austin Barrett, and Bradley Renfro. Investigators began to unravel a horrifying picture of the night of November 13. According to legal documents and witness testimony, David was beaten and forced to walk to a remote location where he was forced into the woods and shot in the head. The teens then attempted to cover up the crime by setting David's car on fire. Police arrested Allmendinger, Johnson, Barrett, and Renfro. However, the details of the crime were horrific. The four faced charges of first-degree murder, kidnapping, arson, and tampering with evidence. The severity of the charges reflected the brutality of the crime and the coldness with which it was carried out. The defendants' trials were widely covered by the media, drawing attention to the violent crime committed by young individuals. The prosecution presented a strong case supported by forensic evidence, witness testimony, and statements from the defendants themselves. Eric Allmendinger was the first to appear in court. He was ultimately found guilty on all counts, with the prosecution alleging that he played a key role in organizing the crime. The prosecution alleged that Allmendinger sought to gain the respect of his peers by committing the crime. He was sentenced to 99 years in prison. During the trial, Allmendinger's behavior and lack of resentment shocked and angered the public. The jury heard testimony from those who described Allmendinger's behavior after the crime. The judge emphasized that Allmendinger must be held accountable for his actions and their impact on the victim's family. Dominic Johnson's trial began in December 2018. Johnson was found guilty on all counts. Evidence showed he was the shooter, ending the life of David Greenwald. Johnson also received a 99-year prison sentence. Johnson's trial revealed that he tried to foster a group rally to motivate the killing through text messages and social media posts. Prosecutors argued that Johnson's actions showed premeditation and a lack of empathy. Austin Barrett and Bradley Renfro received separate trials in 2019. Both were found guilty. Barrett allegedly helped plan the murder and participated in the assault, and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Renfro also received a 45-year sentence, after it was determined that he was present during the murder and helped set the car on fire. Barrett's trial focused on his active participation in the crime, from the planning stage through the brutal assault on David. Testimony from witnesses and co-conspirators painted a picture of Barrett as a willing participant. Renfro's trial focused on his efforts to cover up the crime. Although he was not the shooter, his involvement was significant enough to warrant a lengthy sentence. The murder shocked the Palmer community and the greater Mat-Su Valley. The brutality of the crime and the age of the victims and perpetrators left many unable to comprehend how teenagers could act in this way. The community rallied around David's family. David's memorial was held and support poured in from across the state. The case sparked further discussions about the effects of drugs, peer pressure, and the lack of positive outlets for young people in the community. The solidarity and compassion shown by the community also shows the impact David had on those around him.